Saad, welcome to the Commerce Talks podcast again at the Seamlins conference here in Dubai. And today, or in this session, we're not talking with a retailer, not with a manufacturer, but with somebody like from the oil industry. Before I start explaining something wrong, please tell us a bit about yourself and about ADNOC.
First of all, thank you for inviting me. It's really a pleasure to be here today. There's nothing wrong about what you said. It's all about perspective at the end. From my perspective, we all trying to sell something. It's all about how easy to sell and how difficult to get the customer into your place. And as someone who's working at a fuel retailer, I can tell you it's a challenge every day to get new customers and to be able to sell our products to our customers, despite the fact that it's at the end we're talking about a commodity. We're not talking about something.
But many listeners don't know what ADNOC is selling and that's how it's working. Now I've now driven the street of here Dubai for many times. So I've seen your brand. Can you give us a rough overview about the company?
Sure. I think ADNOC Group is the main oil producer in United Arab Emirates. And from my part, I'm into one of the operating companies. It's ADNOC Distribution, and we're in charge of selling and marketing fuel products. Basically, we manage service stations and convenience stores for the group, and that's a very nice position to be in, especially in ADNOC, because we're the only B2C entity in the group. Basically, we're the only people talking to the final customer. Most of the other entities are upstream and downstream, are really in big industry, not necessarily something we're.
So, but then you're also managing like the stores itself, not just the digital touch points.
We have,
because if I go to a gas station,
yes.
So then there must be somebody like talking to the customer, because charging, for example, for the gas or for the oil.
Yes. We have people on the ground. We have people managing the stores. We have people supporting our customers. We have every and each function possible for such size of a company.
Okay.
Again, we're around 13,000 employees, so it's a big scale even for the country. And we do. If I may share maybe some figures that's going to help you to put the ADNOC into the picture, ADNOC Distribution specifically. We're the largest fuel retailer in the country, operating fuel stations, convenience stores, car washes, lube change areas, and then even surprisingly vehicle inspection centers mostly for Abu Dhabi. So we're overall domestically we run around, and we even just passed the mark of 500 stations this year. So we now have 502 stations in United Arab Emirates, around 360 convenience stores overall as a network. And then, as I said, we have car washes, we have lube change areas also around 200. It's a big player, and I was discussing with someone in the payment industry lately, and he was saying, and that's off the record, basically, ADNOC Distribution is one of the top 3 merchants in the country from a transaction volume perspective. So we're doing around
top 3 merchants.
Top 3 large merchants. So we're doing around 217 million transactions a year. That's the volume we're.
And we are like unfair in this episode because I brought a customer here. So Lina, you are driving a car.
Yes.
So what is a custom experience from your point of view?
Hello, Zaid. Hello, Alex.
Hello.
Glad to be here. So I actually used to live in Abu Dhabi because I think what's interesting, maybe just to add, as he mentioned, so in Dubai, we have a competitor, let's say, to ADNOC, but in Abu Dhabi, it's a pure, all the gas stations are run by ADNOC, right? So, you are rightly pointing. So if you drive the car, you 100% ADNOC's customer, not 99, 100%. And I think the first thing for me, coming maybe from the UK, the convenience is just at the next level from the service perspective, right? So I haven't put petrol in my own car for I don't know how many years now.
So nobody is touching, customers are not touching like the gas nozzle or
no, it's a fully serviced experience. You have people attending to you, helping you put in the fuel. And even in this store is the same thing. You have people on the counter supporting you, despite the fact that we have self-checkout areas. But people in the country prefers to be served, and that's part of the convenience we offer for our customers.
So you don't, and then you don't even leave the car. You pay from the car. You don't, or do you need to go to the store?
So no, you don't need to go to the store here in the country. You pay from the car, and then you pay with different possible options. One is definitely cash. You pay with the credit card or bank card, and then you can even pay from your mobile app. And that's one of the things I'm proud of, because we have included pay for fuel directly into the mobile app through our wallet, which we call ADNOC Wallet. So and I'm a regular user of that anyway. When I arrive to the station, I need just to select the station I'm in, select the pump, authorize the amount I want to put, and the attendant just put the nozzle into the gas inlet, and that's it. So I don't need to move from the car. It's all driven from my mobile app, which is a very, very nice experience.
It's very convenient, and definitely agree. These guys are doing a wonderful service. When it comes to the actual store as a consumer, what's really nice, the variety of different products that ADNOC actually serves. So you can buy everything from the gifts for your friends, which I do most of the time. Sorry, friends, that are listening. And, so this just shows you that you can, different price points, and you can even buy...
What is in the store? Sorry, because I only know European gas stations. And European gas stations, you have sometimes you have the old street maps. Yeah, you have a couple of, screen wipers in there, some beverages. That's it. So I could not buy gifts from a Shell station in Berlin or Hamburg for my friends. What is it? What can you buy here?
Yeah, so maybe it will add to this, but from my personal perspective, I can buy everything from Lego, right, to your kids. So I do that a lot, when I don't buy
in a standard gas station.
Absolutely, yeah, which is impressive. You can buy fresh flowers like an orchid, which is amazing. Requires to look after it and right, so an attendants know it. You can buy every possible, water, mineral water, like Sprites, Cokes, and all.
Confectionery, yes. Drinks, biscuits, whatever you find in a convenience store, even perfumes sometimes. And but again, the products are we have a diversified portfolio of products, and they are not available everywhere. So depending on the demography of the station, where the station is located, you're going to find something different from other places. So it's a case by case.
But how big is the station usually? So the retail space.
Retail space usually, again, it's about the location. If I take the ones on the highway, are huge, and we even have additional space we rent to third parties. So.
Like what? Like a bakery or?
Food providers. I don't want to share any brand names, but they're famous for.
Okay, yeah, but on the highways I understand. So then they have big gas stations. But here, if you go through Dubai in the city, like a standard gas station. So yes. How big is the retail space there?
I would say it's medium to small. Again, if I take the example of the one in Al Wasl Road in Jumeirah, it's big enough to serve the community. With enough variety on the C-store. But again, we have different models also for our stations. We don't build the station the same way. I'm not sure you've seen that. Maybe you can see it later on. We have what we call ADNOC on the go. So it's a format specifically done for small locations. And you don't need to even come out from the car. Everything is served to you. Is it fuel, or even on the retail space, you get attended to, and you get everything from the car. It's a very small format for small communities and small locations.
But Lina, would you go to an ADNOC station and buying stuff when it's not gas or fuel related? So would you go there because you want to buy an orchid, for example, and you don't need to refuel?
Yeah, so actually for me, as someone who's always in a hurry, I would say it's always the convenience element. Maybe it wouldn't be the first choice, if I have 3 days to go until I need a gift or something, but it would definitely be the first choice in my mind. If I think I need something in 1 hour, right? I would definitely not always take a risk of, if I can get on quick commerce, maybe. But if I am on the move and I cannot commit to like certain location, like ADNOC would be the place, I would go, because I know the variety is actually really big, right? But maybe now I will get a chance to ask the question, Zaid, So what about, so in this sort of convenience, the presence, the physical, like what does actually digital mean for ADNOC, and how do you guys see digital, the e-commerce? Are you exploring it? Are you looking to launch?
So here, let me start with the first question.
Yeah.
Why we're talking about digital in a pure retail and convenience environment? Again, I would definitely, convenience is important for our customers. People, when they come to the station, they're not coming for a destination. They're coming for a chore. So if you can make that journey for them easy and convenient, that's gonna help us keep those customers and keep them happy, basically. And when we say about digital, it's about how can we make the experience more frictionless, whether it's by buying fuel, by paying in the station if they want, by selecting specific products through our mobile app, through our catalog, and even serving or supporting them from a customer support perspective. That's also important. And that's I think one of the main I would say one of the main focus for all employees, from the top of the pyramid to till the end. Everyone is focused about customer experience, about convenience, and we do everything to keep those customers happy. One of the now I jump to the e-commerce. Maybe that's also important. So ADNOC Distribution have historically been in the e-commerce long time back, surprisingly, because we always had the option to order your LPG cylinder in Abu Dhabi through the mobile app. So that's
your what? Your LPG?
The LPG cylinder, the cooking gas. Through the mobile app.
Is this a big thing, cooking gas in Abu Dhabi?
It's a e-commerce product at the end. So instead of going to the station, driving there, getting your cylinder, putting it there, getting someone to give a full one and put it in the car back.
But how many households would cook with gas in Abu Dhabi?
I don't have the numbers, but it's a big thing. It's a big thing. I would say.
But you're talking like more than 20% or so? Like, is it pretty big?
I don't have the numbers. Okay. I don't have numbers. I know it's big, but I don't have exact numbers. So now with the LPG ordering into the mobile app, the delivery guy comes directly to your location and he places the cylinder for you, and then it's more convenient, basically more convenient. And then on 2022 we started engaging more on e-commerce with the COVID starting to come around. We started offering our products through the main aggregators on the market, if some of the main application for ordering. So you can, if you go there now today, you will find our products available. You can order and you get delivered automatically to your house. And that was, I would say, very successful in a way. So we scaled, and we are today around 200 locations serving products for those customers through the aggregators, 200 C-store in fact, and even the assortment has grown over time. The assortment offering for e-commerce has becoming bigger and bigger, depending on the locations we're serving also.
Crazy. But before we talk more about the e-commerce stuff, I'd like to talk about like one elephant in the room. Obviously, one big like issues about this the industry is that is the electrification of cars. So we definitely see it in Europe and in some states, in Norway, for example, where we have like a high penetration of electric cars.
Yeah.
The usage of gas stations is changing. So is there, and you can see it now, so you have other countries where you can see kind of what's happening. And even though the adoption here seems to be a bit slower, you don't see like many Teslas here in the region.
Yeah.
Is it something where you think, okay, this is going to change your business model or the way how you approach it?
So as someone who's commuting regularly between Dubai and Abu Dhabi, I can tell you the more and more people are having now EV cars. It's becoming very usual to see people driving electric cars basically on the highway, especially. Now, ADNOC Distribution being a mobility player in the region, we'll definitely have our play into the EV market. And I think 4 or 5 months back, we announced a joint venture between ADNOC Distribution and another Abu Dhabi player to install 30,000 EV chargers in country between now and 2030. I think that shows clearly that there is an interest from ADNOC Distribution into the EV market, and we're going to be for sure playing a big role in that area.
But maybe let's stick like 1 minute. Also, like you just announced it, and the one issue I see, I'm an EV driver. So the one issue I have, usually you find EV stations in Germany in very remote places. So it's usually not even a coffee option or a really bad one. Also, I have to spend like 20 minutes on average at the EV station. So 50 minutes more than I would have spent with like a gas-powered car. Could you like imagine a world where like this kind of gas station becomes much more kind of a short-term hospitality play, whatever, offering, I don't know, like some skincare thing, whatever you can do like in 20 minutes, because you're going to be there anyway. So you're going to charge for it. So maybe it's cheaper in some ways to charge it, but I have to spend some time, and I obviously want to have like quality time if I cannot charge at home.
That goes to the, as you said, changing the perspective from a gas station to maybe a mobility hub where people are coming, putting their cars for charging and staying for not only 20 minutes, maybe for 1 hour or 2 hours. And that involves changing also the way we serve those customers through our convenience stores, having maybe more seating areas, having more services offered to them, enabling more third parties partners to be on the forecourt, whether it's food or non-food also. So rethinking, I would say, the customer journey is part of that overall experience. It's not only the installing infrastructure, as you said, it's also rethinking the customer journey and rethinking the way we receive the customer into our forecourt. That's important. And today, if I may add also, today especially on the areas where you have travelers, like the highways, the stations are already equipped, I would say, with areas where people can take a rest, have a coffee, have a meal, spend some time. So it's already there, even for a traditional unconventional fuel station. Now the question is how fast we can convert those into mobility hubs, and how can we align that with the overall, I would say, EV installation.
Okay. One more question on this. So I understand that there's like already areas where you can seat and been served some food and drinks, and you've explained or talked about like lots of digital experience on store or during the process of shopping fuel. But as you're like the third or second biggest merchant already, so how important is the distance business? So when the customer is not coming to an ADNOC store, so is the mobility app, also working? Do you have a website where you can order stuff and you have people coming from your stores serving stuff in an ultra fast delivery way, for example?
So from 2020, we started offering our products through the aggregators and the ordering apps. And we're able to deliver within 15-20 minutes our products, even the fresh products, because we offer also some fresh products like bakery and fresh coffee.
But you deliver it yourself, or people are picking it up?
No, we get third-party aggregators to deliver for us. Mm-hmm. And that was the reason we did it. Was during COVID we had to quickly move online, and we changed our plans, and we felt that. Those guys are doing a pretty good job, so there was no reason to change them. Now, at least we're starting considering other ways of delivering convenience to our customers. And I'm not sure if Lina is having the mobile app, but today you have a shop on the mobile app, and you can order products from there. But it's a BOPIS, buy online, pick at store basically, or click and collect. So today you can order your coffee in advance, half an hour before, come to the station, you will find your product already available. You can collect it from the station. That's how we're initially starting to offer that online experience for customers. And we have a full catalog in the mobile app with most of the products that are most of the best sellers, I would say, that are really fast growing items.
Is there any like product that you own exclusively where I don't have like other channels where to buy?
Sorry, come again?
Like products, brands you're owning, kind of, I don't know, ADNOC flowers, a special ADNOC bouquet of flowers I only get at your stations?
No, other than the fresh products, the bakery and the coffee, we don't have ADNOC labeled products. Basically, that's not something. I mean, we have our lube range, which is ADNOC Voyager, which is fully owned by ADNOC Distribution. Mm-hmm. That's our brand. But other than that, from a retail perspective, from FMCG, we don't have any. We use the usual assortment from the market.
So maybe I can ask you around the data side, right? So you're capturing a lot of information when it comes from maybe the people like refueling and all. Mm-hmm. What about retail in general? Considering you're fulfilling it through third-party aggregators, do you think that you're still lacking data, or these third-party aggregators sharing data with you? What's your take on the whole data and kind of helping to build that loyalty with customers? Today we heard a lot of words of personalization. So what's your take on personalization? Using the data.
So for us, it all starts with our loyalty program. We're offering for our customers a loyalty program for the last 3 years. And today we're having around 1.5 million registered users into that loyalty program. That's a decent number for United Arab Emirates, and we're able to track and understand shopping behavior, understand customer behavior, and through those members, I would call them members. But the objective definitely is to improve the customer experience, to be able to offer a better assortment for those customers. But that's again through our main channel, which is the mobile app. Now, for online deliveries, we're working hand in hand with the aggregators to get some data. It's not as rich as someone who's using our mobile app, but it's growing over time, and we're lucky to have them and have them being very supportive and listening to our requests whenever we need data. So it's I would say it's growing over time, and we're able to build more and more personalized experience for those customers, even on the third-party aggregators, basically.
Great. All right. Well, I am heading back to the retail room. Thank you. Great seeing you, Saad. Thanks, Alex, and I'll see you shortly.
Yeah, we see you in the next podcast. Then I can ask Saad a couple of more questions here regarding the business. So one thing I've ever asked myself is like on the gas station business is there's so many opportunities to verticalize the business. We can offer even more stuff like around the car, repair services, rental car services. But the stations I know in Europe are really focused on just like selling gas, more or less. It's like in and out business. Is there anything that speaks against like expanding into these other areas? Is it too space heavy? Does it make sense at the locations where the gas stations are usually served?
I think it goes back to the strategy provided by ADNOC as a group, and the way they see how their retail arm should function. Today, our main focus was and still to serve customers, to serve the nation, to be able to be available everywhere, even in remote locations. You have ADNOC stations, and that's part of that mission for the company. Now, there are always opportunities to diversify the portfolio. EV is one of them. Investing also in other companies is one of them. I'm not sure if I mentioned that, but we just completed the acquisition of 50% stake in Total Energies in Egypt, which is around 240 stations in Egypt. So that's an investment for ADNOC, and this is how they see the strategy from a diversification perspective. Today and historically, the type of services we've been offering in the station have been always the same. We haven't changed anything. And the focus is more to improve the way we're offering those services and the convenience of customers coming to our stations. That's the focus for today.
Okay, then one other area where I saw gas stations like changing their offer, or at least like adding new products is, I don't know if you followed like the journey of Shell in Europe. They once started to offer a product called Shell Ultimate, a special gas that gets more power of your car. So instead of like, what is it, like 98 octane, it's then offered like 99 or whatever. So for 99.99999% of the customers, no change at all, just more pricey. But I totally understand it, like from a station provider perspective, to offer a differentiated product.
Yes.
When people believe that the product is better for the car, and even if they put it in there and they say, yeah, I feel like the 2% of our performance totally makes sense. Have you experimented with this stuff too?
Yes, we did. In fact, I would say we're lucky to be here in UAE, because you have so many supercars and luxury cars, and they need special type of fuel anyway. So we today offer a 98 octane product, which is also having a lot of additives included, especially for those kind of cars. It's slightly more expensive than 95, but it's very useful for those type of cars. And this has been always our premium product for those customers, and this is our differentiation for them.
But is there also customers without the supercar still using this product? And say, okay, I can get out of my standard Lexus LS300. I can get this 2% more performance. It's worth it.
Yes, there are customers going for those products, but again, it depends on the areas and the location of the station. When you have stations in if I may say, more luxury locations, customers are having this propensity to go for the 98 and the premium fuel more than other areas.
Even with a normal car.
Yes. And usually they don't have normal cars, but they have, I would say, medium to normal cars. And they have this propensity to go for 98. And again, we as a retailer, especially when we launched the product, we did a lot of push from a marketing perspective, having vouchers, having bundles, offering more savings for customers to push them for the product and try it. And we've seen, I would say, some success in that area.
Okay, totally get it, and totally makes sense. One other thing that came up when I prepared for the podcast is, so for the business you're in is very real estate heavy. So just like you're expanding by having more stations, essentially. So like getting more cars into the same station there's a certain limitation to it. Obviously, you can give out more vouchers, but in areas where you're like the only provider, it doesn't make sense to cut your margins. Therefore, I assume like real estate operations or real estate expansions is like the main focus from an operational perspective. So how important is digital? So you're responsible like for the digital experience. So when I would be following a board conversation with ADNOC, so how often is digital a topic in the board conversations?
So digital have been in the main, I would say, the top 5 topics for our CEO, for the executive director. I've been around for more than 3 years now, and from day one I've heard 2 words: digital and customer experience, very strongly. So digital is important, and that's why we push a lot, try to enable experiences through our mobile app, try to enable even experiences on the forecourt for those customers through digital. If I may share, for example, I think this is something we announced 2 months back. In some of the locations, we have now installed computer vision cameras, and if you add your plate number into the mobile app and include your preferences for fuel and amount, the next time you visit the station, you don't need to open the window. You just park. The attendant knows who you are, knows which fuel to put, how much to put. And when he finishes, you leave the station without talking to anyone, and the payment is automatically collected from your wallet. So that's a totally frictionless experience that we're able to offer through digital, and that wouldn't have been possible without digital.
And are people using it? Is it so? I would use it, but
it's
usually
available. I'm not sure if you know the place, but our main station is Sheikh Zayed Road, the biggest road in UAE. It's already having the service. It's available. So the next time you visit in Sheikh Zayed Road petrol station.
But I guess you need the ADNOC app for it, or I have to register.
We're enabling
online?
that through the ADNOC Distribution app.
But do you see quite some adoption to this service? Because it sounds strange not to talk to because it's part of the UX. Maybe you have a very friendly service guy.
It depends again on the market and the people and the culture of the people here. And you highlighted a very important point, because the interaction is, as you said, is missing. But what we did when we implemented the service, we added screens in front of the driver to add that interaction bit with the customer. So sometimes when people are coming to the station, they don't want to talk to anyone. They just want to get the fuel and leave. So we're trying also to interact with them through those screens by offering sometimes important information, by offering even upsell or bundles or additional offers to them. So we can try to engage with them through that screen also.
Interesting. So yesterday we had a dinner. You also attended, and some of the dinner attendants, they ordered a driver because of the alcohol, they were not able to drive their own cars. And then I thought, okay, that's definitely a service I would also order instead of like going myself to a gas station, like doing like a detour. And it also like takes 10, 15 minutes, whatever, the detour and doing the gas and driving that. Is it also a service you provide, like we pick your car up, we bring it back fully loaded with gas?
Today, this is not a service we offer. We focus mostly on corporates, not on individual drivers. So we can offer a fuel delivery to corporates directly to their locations when required.
But then you would deliver full, so with like a fuel truck, is it then, or how do you?
Usually it's a fuel truck, fully equipped to fuel their fleet basically in their location or their selected location.
Okay, maybe that's then for your roadmap, then adding this kind of driver service. But but people could do it today, most likely. I order a driver for Kareem, and then they say, okay, bring the car to the gas station and bring it back full, stuff like this.
I think I don't see value, to be honest, for the company offering those services, because the only differentiation was when it was launched here was the price reduction that you can get when you buy from those guys. But because the prices are regulated, it's the same price at the pump or even on the when you get the fuel delivered to your door.
Not just a service for me as a consumer. If I don't want to fuel up my car,
consumer is winning. I'm not saying that consumer is the winner here.
Yeah.
But the people who are offering the service are playing on very thin margins. In fact, they don't have much margins here compared to fuel stations. So it's operationally, it's not necessarily a money-making operation.
No, but I would pay somebody.
Additional services.
I would pay somebody to drive to an ADNOC station. Maybe my plate is already registered.
Okay.
But I don't want to do it myself. I just want to save like the 10 minutes.
Maybe your driver. That's a different story, because a lot of people are having drivers here. So you can ask your driver to go and fuel. And the way to control that is also through the plate number, because to avoid fraud also, because sometimes someone, if you give a card to someone to fuel your car, he can maybe fuel half your car and half is something else. So you never know. Having the plate number is or the RFID tag is a way to control that whoever is getting that transaction is the right vehicle and the right person.
Okay. Is it and like maybe another question? It's, I hope it's not like too private. So when like European consumers are thinking about like the GCC region, the main thinking about gas prices, they must be like super low. Doesn't play a role at all, because here it comes out of the ground, and therefore it must be super cheap, like gas filling a car. Is this the case? Are gas prices so much cheaper here compared to the rest of Europe?
So I don't know the prices in Europe, to be honest. I can't compare to my home country. I'm originally from Morocco, and definitely the gas prices are much cheaper than my home country. So clearly, being a country where oil is produced is an advantage.
What is a liter here, like for standard 95?
95 is
on liter basis.
Is 30 something. 3 dirhams.
Dirham.
Yes.
So it's 80,
give me 1 minute, because I'm gonna check the prices on the mobile app also. So
okay.
This is how digital is important.
Yeah.
1 minute.
Is it different prices on different stations, or it's like
the
one
prices
regular
are
price?
A monthly set by the government. So the prices
in all UAE,
all network the same prices for us and for all other operators. It's not something. So the 95 is 3.05 AED per liter.
3.05 divided by
this
4.
Month.
It's like 70 cents, euro cents.
Maybe,
okay.
yeah.
Okay, let's maybe that's 60% less than German prices right now.
There was a time it was very, very cheap. I remember when I came here into the region, I was initially in Bahrain. It was more expensive to buy water than fuel. I lived that moment.
But I see a lot of cars, so I would have expected more US muscle cars where like fuel consumption is like usually a huge problem. But I see a lot of cars which are like super efficient on the fuel consumption side here.
It's demography based.
Okay.
The people from UAE likes big cars for their comfort, especially the big SUVs, basically. And there you don't ask questions about the price. Just to get the car and then you pay for the fuel, basically. So again, there are other people from other areas like Southeast Asia, for example, where they like more comfy and less expensive cars to run. So you get less consuming this type of cars on the road, basically.
Okay.
So it's really based on demographics. It's really based on the expectations for the customer. So again, we're in a comfort society, basically. So a lot of people prefer to have big cars. They don't see the fuel price being an issue or being a challenge for them.
Okay, maybe last question. So the one big thing you're now rolling out is the plate recognition service. So you need some cameras and you need to register of the plates, for which I think is a cool service. Other big digital services coming out in 2023, 2024. You're working on.
So we are, as I said, we're rolling out our online shop. We started initially with a limited number of stations just to test the service. And we're hoping to scale by the end of the year.
But this is always a BOPIS model, right?
Yeah. There's going to be click and collect BOPIS model. Yeah. That's going to be the at least for 2023 is going to be BOPIS model. And then again, we're there to learn, understand the customer behavior, understand the shopping behavior for those customers, and then maybe see how we can evolve over time with the service.
Okay,
that's the idea. And other maybe. Services that we're offering is we launched our first pilot of what we call ADNOC Go. This is a fully unmanned store using also computer vision and AI to track customer inside the store. That's a technology we're trying and testing currently, and we see.
But that's not working for the customer who is registered for the plate recognition payment method. He's staying in the car.
That's not going to work. That's why we have the interactive screens in front of him.
Okay.
So that's how we interact with those customers.
But how is he using the screens when he's in the car?
So if you're in the car, you're fueling now, you can get to your mobile app, go to the shop, select the station you are in, select the products you want, and it's going to get delivered to your car, or it's going to get... That's also an option.
So there might be somebody coming out with a bouquet of flowers.
Yeah, it's possible. If it's in the catalog of that station, you can order it, and we have an option we called Order Now. So in fact, we're finalizing that. So you get a push notification directly to your mobile app while you're fueling with a proposed product based on your history that you ordered just by one click, and you're gonna get it delivered to your car.
And then you just like open your trunk with like one click. You don't need, and then somebody puts it in.
No, not necessarily. Again, it's about convenience. You'd be surprised how people are behaving differently when they're on this service station. It's a day-by-day basis. Sometimes I'm coming out from a meeting, I'm really pissed off. I don't want to speak to anyone. I find it really convenient to go to this fuel station if I have to, especially if I'm close to have an empty trunk, and then get the fuel and leave. That's it.
Nice. Super interesting. And interesting to learn that's one of the biggest merchants here in the region.
Yeah, from a volume perspective, from a number of transactions, we are one of the biggest.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. Like, what is like 230 million a year? Was it?
It's 217 million.
17.
Yeah,
crazy numbers
every year.
Crazy.
No, it's a huge volume. Yeah, exactly.
Crazy. Yeah. Very, very, very cool. You've been here on the show. I've learned a lot about the your business and the business model, and definitely following like the transition into this EV business. So next time, most likely when you're going to speak, then the first chargers are live next year.
The chargers are already live. Some of the chargers are already live at the stations. So and again, using the mobile app, you can search for EV chargers on our station finder.
Okay.
And you can decide where you want to go basically based on that. And I just want to add something here. On the EV charging is also enabled through the mobile app. So when you go into the mobile app, you select the EV charger, and you can do your payment through the mobile app also. We're all digital, in fact.
Nice.
Yeah.
Super cool. Saad, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure talking to you and Lina. And then we'll continue discussion maybe later on once I have more updates on the EV part.
Yeah. We meet on the next ADNOC station.
Inshallah. Thank you very much.
Thank you.